Hey guys, here's your guys' lecture video on axis of symmetry and vertex. Okay, so learning goals, students will be able to find the axis of symmetry and vertex of a quadratic function today. So here's your guys' warm-up. So pause the video and see if you guys could do the first two questions by yourself, okay? Okay, so given the following graph, list the x and y intercepts. Okay. What is the coordinate where the graph goes from decreasing to increasing when looking from left to right? So if you guys go from left to right along this curve, notice it decreases, right? Decreases, 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 and then right here is where it shifts from decreasing to increasing, right? The shift happens right there. So what is this specific coordinate? This specific coordinate is right there where it changes from the graph decreasing to increasing. And this is at 2, negative 1. So what is the x value of this coordinate? The x value is 2. So x is equals to 2. Now, we're going to draw this. So yes, you are going to have to draw this in your notes. So draw this vertical dashed line. This vertical dashed line, you guys, this is what we call the axis of symmetry. And that coordinate where it shifts from changing from decreasing to increasing, this is what we call our vertex. So today we are going to explore these, and you'll notice that vertex and axis of symmetry, they actually go hand in hand. So definition, the axis of symmetry is a vertical line that goes to the vertex of a parabola. So the left and right hand sides of the parabola are symmetric. To simplify, this line splits the graph of a quadratic equation into two mirror images, which kind of makes sense because you guys looked at this graph. It's dead on right in the middle of this graph, cuts it in half, and it produces two mirror images, right? Definition, if the parabola opens up, the vertex represents the lowest point of the graph or the minimum value of the quadratic function. If the parabola opens down, the vertex represents the highest point on the graph or the maximum value. In either case, the vertex is a turning point on the graph. That also makes sense because, as you guys can see, when the graph changes from decreasing to increasing, the spot or location on where it changes is at the vertex. So what are the axis symmetry and vertex for the graph above? We already wrote it. The vertex, you guys, was 2, negative 1. And your guys' axis symmetry is x is equal to 2. So make sure you guys write this part down. The axis of symmetry. This is an equation. The axis of symmetry, you guys, is an equation. And if you guys take a look at this axis of symmetry. It's a dotted vertical line. And to represent a vertical line, you guys, in math, you have to write the equation x is equal to that number. And for us, it's x is equals to 2. You can't just write 2 for the axis symmetry. It's an equation, so you have to write this whole thing. X is equals to 2. Finding both the axis symmetry and vertex go hand in hand with one another. So if you guys take a look at this, do you guys notice that the axis of symmetry is just the x coordinate of the vertex, right? And do you guys realize if you find your axis of symmetry, then that's still the x coordinate of the vertex, right? So if you know your axis of symmetry or your vertex, you should know information about each other, right? So let me give you guys an example. You guys don't have to write this down, just listen. If you guys had a vertex of 5, 0, what is your axis of symmetry? Isn't your axis of symmetry just the x coordinate of the vertex? So isn't it just x equals 5? Yes. What if you guys had this example? What if the vertex was negative 10 and 0? Or I'll do a different number. Negative 10 and 3. What's your axis of symmetry? Well, your axis of symmetry is negative 10. So the axis of symmetry, that is the x-coordinate of your vertex. Okay? So we have a formula for our axis of symmetry, guys, which is x equals negative b over 2a. And here are the steps. Make sure your function has exponents in descending order. Find out what your a equals, b equals, and c equals. Use the axis of symmetry equation to solve for x. To find the y value of your vertex, plug your x value back into the equation. So that will help you guys find your guys' vertex. So let's go to your guys' examples. Okay, do you guys recall this equation? Isn't this a quadratic equation, you guys? And this is when we first started doing factoring, right? When a equals 1 and when a is greater than 1. So in order to solve for our axis of symmetry and to get the x-coordinate of vertex, we have to use the axis of symmetry equation, negative b over 2a. Now, let's label our a, b, and c. Your a value for this one, you guys, is 1. For b value, it's 6. For c value, it's 4. Negative of our b value, so it's negative 6 all over 2 times our a value, which is 1. Negative 6 over 2 times 1, you guys, is 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So here is your guys' axis of symmetry. X is equals to negative 3. Now remember, the axis of symmetry is also the x-coordinate of our vertex. So if we have our x value of the vertex, to find the y value, all we gotta do is just plug it into this equation right there. Everywhere you see an x, it is now negative 3. So f of negative 3 equals negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 4. Negative 3 squared, you guys, is positive 9. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18 plus a 4. Combine those and you're going to get negative 5. The y-coordinate of the vertex, you guys, is negative 5. And there's your guys' vertex answer. Okay, let's try B. Now, B is not going to be on your guys' homework, or it's not going to be on the doyo, so this does going to require you guys to have fractions. So don't worry about it. Just do your best with part B. So, first, let's find our axis of symmetry. Your A value, guys, is 2. Your B is negative 10. And your C value is 18. Now, this is the thing you guys should notice. Do you guys see how your B value is negative 10? And do you see how the formula, guys, already has a negative sign? So this negative sign comes from the formula, and then our B value is negative 10. 2 times A value, which is 2. Negative 10 times negative 10 is positive 10, all over 2 times 2, which is 4. And you guys can simplify this fraction by dividing top and bottom by 2. So you guys are going to get 5 over 2. Now, this is your guys' axis of symmetry, right? X equals 5 over 2. Now, to find your guys' vertex, remember the axis of symmetry is the x-coordinate of the vertex. So now, to find the y-coordinate, just plug it back into the formula. F of 5 over 2 equals 2 times 5 over 2 squared minus 10 times 5 over 2 plus 18. Okay, 5 over 2 squared, you guys. 5 over 2 times 5 over 2, that's 25 over 4. Negative 10 times 5 halves, you guys. So negative 10 times 5 is negative 50. Negative 50 divided by 2, negative 25 plus 18. Okay, 2 times 25 is 50 over 4, and you can divide top and bottom by 2 to get 25 over 2. And negative 25 plus 18, you guys, is 7. Now, we can put that over 1 as a fraction and get common denominators, so multiply top and bottom by 2. So you guys are going to get 25 over 2 minus 14 over 2. And that simplifies to 11 over 2. So that is your guys' y coordinate of your guys' vertex. A doozy of a problem, but again, you guys won't have homework on this, and this will not pop up on your guys' dojos either. Okay, part C. Now this is a very unique one. Everyone, compare what we have to this. Do you guys notice that there is no x term in this equation, right? You have an x squared, but you don't have an x term, right? So because you don't have an x term, that means your b value, guys, is 0, because this 4 is your a, and this negative 36, you guys, is your c. And another way you guys can rewrite this is this, 0x minus 36, right? So because there's no x term, your b value automatically is 0. So this is very helpful because when we solve for our axis of symmetry, which is also the x coordinate of your vertex, we get x equals negative b over 2a, right? Negative, our b value is 0, 2 times our a value, which is 4, 0 over 8, which is just 0. So the axis of symmetry is x equals 0. Now to find your guys' y coordinate of your vertex, we just plug in 0 into your guys' equation. But if you guys take a look, you're just going to get negative 36. And there's your guys' vertex. Okay, so pause the video to see if you guys can do A, B, and C. Pause the video to see if you guys can do A, B, and C. Be very mindful of the x equals negative b over 2a part. Okay, so hopefully you guys pause the video, so let's take a look. So find your axis symmetry, x equals negative b over 2a. Your b value, you guys, look, a equals 1, b equals negative 8, c equals 7. Your b value is negative 8. So negative from the formula and negative 8 from your b value times 2 times your a value, which is 2 times 1. Negative times negative 8 is a positive 8 all over 2, which is 4. So your axis symmetry is just x equals 4. And we know that is the x coordinate of the vertex. Now to find your y, plug in 4 into the equation to solve. Everywhere you see an x, it is now 4. 4 squared is 16. Negative 8 times 4 is negative 32 plus 7. That simplifies to negative 9. 4 comma negative 9 is your guys' vertex. Okay, part B. Again, find your guys' axis of symmetry first. A equals 4, B equals negative 16, and C is equals to 8. Okay, this negative sign comes from the formula, then times negative 16, which is your B value. 2 times A, which is 2 times 4. Negative times negative 16 is a positive 16. 2 times 4 is 8. 16 divided by 4 is 2. Axis of symmetry, x equals 2. And again, that is also your guys' x coordinate of the vertex. Now find your guys' y value, plug in 2 into the equation. Everywhere you see an x, it now becomes a 2. So PEMDAS, orders of operation, 2 squared is 4. Negative 16 times 2 is negative 32 plus 8. 4 times 4 is 16 minus 32 plus 8. Combine all those, negative 8. Your y coordinate of your vertex is negative 8. Vertex, 2 comma negative 8. Okay, C. Again, x equals negative b over 2a. Your a value is 2. You don't have a b value, and then your c value is negative 25. Again, your b value is 0 because you do not have an x term. So, plug a and b in. Negative 0 times 2 times your a value, which is 2. That's just 0 over 4, you guys, which is 0. So, axis of symmetry is x is equals to 0, which is also your guys' x coordinate of your vertex, right? Plug in 0 everywhere you see an x, and you'll realize, you guys, you'll get negative 25. 0 comma negative 25 is your guys' vertex. Please do not forget to do your 1 through 5, you guys. And for your exit ticket, write one new thing that you learned in today's lesson, right? So hopefully this helps you guys out. Good luck on your guys' homework assignment and do your guys' best. Peace.